Hi there, and thank you for clicking on my video. This is just an interaction with Voruna. I'm going to show her AoE nuke. I see a lot of people in the clan and alliance are having issues with her build. I'm seeing people complain that she isn't very strong, and more importantly, her 4 is really weak. I'm going to show you just what the interaction is. Um, you need to think of her more like an assassin. She is a very mobile play style. And let me show you, right? Very, very mobile. But the thing is her interaction with the mecha set. Isn't too bad. You need to think of the mecha set as sort of like faction damage for abilities. Um, but it's faction damage based on damage dealt to a specific target, where Rhino would be like faction damage to like your frame and your weapons. The mecha set applies similarly, but it has a single target. But at the same time, it can then spread it. Well, if the enemy already has statuses on it, the damage just keeps climbing. So, got the mecha set, and because the 2 is an AoE, or has an AoE component, you can build it up. You can see the status. But if we want to spread the damage, we got to keep the status on it. And the damage spreads also. This also works great for finishers because of the way the 1 works. Right, invisible. And it's abusing the mecha set because of the amount of status that the frame has. It's pretty easy to have a good time with this frame. So it gets spread that way. So let's talk about briefly where the damage appears to be coming from. Obviously, it's her first day. Because there are times where it's definitely doing more damage, like it's climbing due to the gas damage and the amount of debuffs on each enemy, if you will. Oh, need more enemies. So you need stacks. You need to be able to manage your energy. This is sort of a meme build right now. It's just to show the interaction. But using the mecha set, it really makes our damage pop, right? Because this is giving us plus 150% damage from the initial hit, and then it applies 150% to the dot. This is jacking the dot portion of her statuses up out of control and spreading. And because of, you see it over there? That guy's the nuke. Because this one is going to be 150 and then 150 like faction damage. The other guy starts at where this faction damage ended and then boosts the damage again. So that guy's the nuke. So we're going to come over here and keep in mind with her stealth. Give the guy a couple of taps. 3 ability casts to kill that many enemies. That's not bad. I've been having a pretty good time doing steel path and whatnot with her. Literally just running around and killing with the frame. using her as a status nuke. I'm honestly kind of interested now, after seeing how this frame performs, in potentially doing a frame only like level cap, because there is a lot of damage in this build. There is a ton of damage, or in this frame, because you need to think about it as sort of like Lavos is 4, and maybe that might be where the problem is in terms of getting the damage out of the kit. This is the slash version of Lavos' 4, where Lavos' 4 did heat damage. So obviously, expect to see a bunch of Breach Surge builds when you're looking at YouTube over the next couple of days. Because this is a meme and a half. I've tried out Terrify. It all works good as long as you keep everything AoE and you have an okay amount of range on it. So the build is just a goofy range build. I have not been using this in like Steel Path and to like farm stuff and level stuff. This is to show the interaction with range. And how the range, it's a 16.4 meter range, but that's the spread on death, right? Anything you do by attacking with your primary, secondary, or melee, even if you're running like silence mods, appears to still pull you out of stealth. The only thing that I've noticed that's kind of helpful is you can sort of get away with like one-shot damage if you're running a hush mod. So you'll be stealthed, you'll hit them with like a Kuva Shakur or something, and immediately re-stealth, and if you're fast enough, you won't gain aggro. Because they have to have line of sight of you. They're not getting alerted to you based on like the sound, right? Because the sound would trigger everything in the tile set and probably the next one also. So if you're running something like that, very, very good. But with this, it doesn't really say that you can add to the stacks. So cast it a couple of times, let RNG do its work, but then use the Mecha set to add your own status effects that do damage. And the status effects from this will be spread by the Mecha set and by the enemy expiring also. So you're going to have a 16.4 meter radius around the enemy, and then you're going to have the Mecha set nuke. And I'm going to do a round of ESO so the interaction shows. It's very self-sustaining almost. Almost self-sustaining. It's not truly busted. But just to show where the damage is coming from. This is finally a frame that can really abuse the Mecha set, because these are all AoEs, right? This one is a frame buff, or a melee buff. This is an AoE. The 4 is an AoE. You can see it. Oh, pardon. Right? See the little, hold on, let me get over here. See the red marker out there? I'm autoing everything in that circle. In order to get the damage buff, I just gotta kill something. And this big-ass AoE. And it scales based on statuses, and then deals a slash proc. And if you're dealing damage to the targeted enemy, the damage gets scaled, and then slash gets boosted again. And then that status proc gets spread. And if it does damage to the other marked enemy, because there's going to be 2, It gets boosted again, like another faction mod, and then gets spread again when that guy dies. And that's 230 meter radius, so 60-meter diameter nukes that go off, and it's a slash proc. So even though I sort of memed on slash procs the other day, this is how I'm figuring the frame is going to work. You might not even need the weapons. Like, when it really comes down to it, anything... If you can get a melee kill, the hilarious thing that I've noticed is finishers. Notably fairly high damage, single instances of damage. Like Garuda, you have to think of the one like Garuda's 4, but with a condition, right? Okay, so tap Dinar Shroud Voruna with invisibility. Dinar shrouds Voruna with invisibility and accelerates her speed. Invisibility ends when Voruna attacks. So this is pistol, secondary melee. It when you cast the 2, it does visually appear that you can be seen for an instant, but you immediately go back invisible. Invisibility ends when she attacks for a short time after a melee attack lands. Melee attacks have increased crit damage and status chance and inflict bleed. This applies to finishers. It's kind of wild. Like, with this, I kind of want to try a like a trickster build or something. Because the nuke, the way it applies statuses, especially with the Mecha set, a true damage finisher on something that's designed to pump out big numbers is kind of hilarious to begin with. Like, for the newer people, you might have not been around when there was the Trickster Equinox meme that was running around. Where you would kill something with, say, like marked for death, or you would tag something with marked for death. You would stab him in the back with Equinox. And you'd have Trickster equipped, so you'd be an invisible AoE nuke where you would do a shit ton of damage. Like, every 10 seconds, you would just nuke a tile set. So, I'm getting the feeling that it's like this. This isn't even a power strength build, so keep that in mind. Not even a power strength build. So, I'm already seeing ways to abuse this. I don't have, like, a build that I'm gonna put my thumb on. Because it appears to just be a very comfy build. I'm running Prime Continuity. I'll set it up for you right now, and then I'll do the ESO run. It's not going to be super fantastic, but it's still going to be like 400 or 500 kills, right? And the only issue that she really has, honestly, is this bitch has got some energy issues. Like, really has some energy issues. The final slot is effectively a like a flex slot. If you want to throw like rolling guard there, I was going to be formatting in that direction. But this was... Where's it at? I'm blind. There we go. This is the build that I was using, and I was kind of playing her like Ashe. Use the 1 to reposition, assassinate something, rolling guard into the 1, and you got iframes, and you just go around finishing stuff. You'll prime them before you kill them, but you'll find uh, the mecha tagged enemy while in stealth. Prime them, hit them once or twice with this, finisher them, and the entire thing spreads, and you nuke like a tile, like half a tile set. Is how I've been playing her a bit. Oh, also energize and a flex slot. You could put whatever the hell you want here. If you want more scaling, I mean, who doesn't? I even tried multi-augmented. It's a good meme. Like, this is the build that I was trying. I put a single 10% power strength on there. Because I was trying out Theranos Strike. So once it gets stacked, right? You get the strip. Been trying out Sickening Pulse, and it's a joke also. But I was trying out Theranos Strike on over the 3 because I wasn't really meleeing that much. And this was allowing me to get the full strip because I'm not running Corrosive Projection. So this is the build that I've been using. But let's see how this does in ESO. Okay, so the rest is gameplay. If you want to watch it, cool. This is just going to be a shorter 16, 17-minute video or whatever it ends up being. But just to show the interaction and how you can amper damage, this is the way that I've been doing it. So here you go. I'm off to ESO. Thank you for watching.
Operator, you have remembered well how the Tenno arm themselves.
Yeah, I'm still in the process of building these up. It's just crap for now. I'm just showing it. Nothing's good. Don't even have an arcane on the planks. But anyway, alright, to ESO. Oh, and one more thing. Should be important. I'm using invisibility to keep a Predacite alive. Reason being is the Mecha set. You can fit on the Predacites. This is the Pharaoh. So the two Mecha mods, I am actually using Anabolic Pollination for an additional level of scaling. All you have to do is walk through the spore cloud and you get it for a couple of seconds. So if you're spamming 2, to be honest, you probably have this. And it's just, it is what it is. And then you have Volatile Parasite, which is a massive taunt, which helps you run around, and for those couple of frames in your 1 where you're visible, where you're spamming your 2, what this guy does is it coughs up a maggot that attaches to something, and everything in a 40-meter range gets taunted. It's a phenomenal level of CC, and then at the end of it explodes for 400 viral damage, which is kind of whatever because it's only like 10 meters. But it's more about that 40-meter taunt, right? So I've been using this, and keep in mind, this guy stealths along with you. So with that, we even got Synth Fiber on here to be able to pick up energy and health orbs, regardless of what our health level is. So, food for thought. This guy is like stupidly powerful if in the right area. If it's like a small tile set, this will taunt the entire thing, right? So anyway, ESO time. We're gonna need the strength buff.
Your reliance on that ability is skewing my data. I have disabled it for now. Use another tank. Open. Go now. Hunter, you are running out of time. Enter the data conduit.
$579 isn't too bad. It's just, you gotta remember the power of her isn't single target damage. You have to layer AoEs on top of each other. So it's like, oh, her 4 doesn't do damage. You just gotta kill something in a 30-meter AoE. You can kill a trash mob. But you have to jump and hit something, but the slash has a massive radius to it. So you just gotta kill something. So, there you go. There's an example of how to build her. Just think about it as layered AoEs. And the Mecha set stores the 4 damage and amps it. Like you saw at the end, the slash was hitting for like 73k. On something that I had primed once. Or I had hit with 2 once. You can get it way higher. I've already gotten the 4 to 53 million. Okay? Like, you can amp the shit out of it. Because keep in mind, this is negative power strength. Okay, because I'm running overextended. On a power strength build, I tried it just to sort of see what the damage would get up to. It scales off of condition off of status procs. So you have to hit an enemy a couple of times at the beginning to get the status procs spread. Well, this damage on the AoE, if you kill something like a trash mob with the 2 on them and then auto, the enemy that dies will spread the status, and then the rest of the damage that you do in the AoE will then get amped also. So it even says in it, Voruna drops to all fours and prepares 5 brutal charges that lock onto enemies. Voruna, the most powerful wolf, leads the attacks as Voruna dashes toward our target. The pack deals increased damage to targets and nearby enemies that are inflicted by status effects. Lethal attacks double the damage of Voruna's remaining charges. So you can amp this to hell and back. Right? The 4,000 damage is just the starting point. So just keep that in mind. I'll have a build out tomorrow where it's like actually a legit build. But this is just to show the layering of the AoEs, because it didn't even look like I was that busy. It's because I was hitting so many things at once. And also remember, they complained about Brahma having a 13-meter radius. I've got an auto here, essentially, with a 24-meter radius on it. Okay? So, think about it as layering AoEs, layering debuffs and status effects. Like, sort of like the Sea-Doo. Think about her 4 as like a Sea-Doo, right? The 2's the alt fire, 4's the damage. So you need to run around with your 4 constantly active, but you're not using it. You prime an enemy, and then you bomb them. And the Mecha set increases the range on this even more, because the spread radius is 16.5. No, it's not. The Mecha set makes it 30. Right? So it's, once you get it and you start getting the stacks going, the Mecha set starts re-triggering. Because you have so many AoEs keeping the damage alive, so it amps. Technically continuously, but I haven't gotten far enough in to see anything insane, but it's gotten to the point where it's no longer showing damage numbers. Not showing zeros, but it's literally just not registering them, because there's so many dots going on. Which I guess my frame rate appreciates. I don't know, I'd like to see the damage sometime. But, you know how it is if for Toxin Lash users. Like, you see a bunch of numbers, but, like, you know there's more there, right? But anyway, try her out like this. See how you like it. And also, I don't even think the weapons need ribbons. Like, they're strong enough, right? Like, especially this, a crit multiplier, 100% status chance. And you keep it for a bunch of time. I don't see anything wrong with that. Clearly a balanced stat. I love that they put it in the game, though. It's a little broken. The 2's a little broken. The 4's definitely broken. But to be honest, I'm glad this is in the game. It's just a fun combination. And as I'm recording, it says hotfix deploying. I hope they didn't fucking break it. But as of right now, at 5:34 p.m. on November 30th, with the hotfix inbound, this is what I have so far, just to sort of show the interaction. It's also super potent with forced heavy attacks that slash builds, some weapons have forced / heavy attacks. So let's say like the pennant. If you smack something that's got a heavy attack, or if you smack an enemy with something with a forced slash, and it's a heavy attack, you get the benefit of the 12x multiplier. So say your 12x multiplier forced heavy attack, right? Hit something and it does like 1,000,000 damage normally. The Mecha set will boost your damage against the targeted enemy, the marked one, to 2.5 million. And then, obviously, that enemy is going to die. Because you'll have 1 million plus 150%. That dot is now, or the main damage is now 2.5 million. But then the dot gets boosted also. So this is now, sorry, the base damage if you got a slash dot. So it'll go back to the original one. Okay, so your main attack gets a 1 million slash tick. Normally. You're going to hit something, the end result is going to be slash tick to slash tick is going to be 2.5. But then this becomes the slash dot when the enemies get hit in the AoE. So now your 1 mil slash dot gets bumped up to 2.5, and if the other marked target is there, it gets boosted again. But it's got to be marked target to marked target. That's why if you're doing... so the next slash dot would be this one, if it jumps again. And it will infinitely scale. So if you hit the next slash dot, or the next marked target, obviously this is way higher level, this will be the AoE. And it's in a 30-meter radius. So it's going to amp if you can keep something alive. And we've messed around with this. And the only way we know to consistently keep something alive is literally a sickening pulse trinity. Because the slash tick will happen, and before you'll use like a pair of trinities, and one will well a life the first mark target. The second one will go grab the other one, and you'll basically just run back and forth tag teaming them, and you can keep the slash dot alive that way. It's a meme build, but if you got somebody to play with and you've successfully won Warframe and you farmed friends, it is an interesting build. And you can amp that damage to hell and back. So, anyway, for Voruna, think layered AoEs, and it's AoE damage, but on a frame. And it still scales like Conditioned Overload. And the main damage dealer is slash based. It's a meme. It's a joke. It's so strong right now. That's probably what the hotfix was. But anyway, y'all have a wonderful day. Take it easy. See you tomorrow.